Welcome to the Clear to Send podcast, a podcast about wireless engineering, where we educate you on Wi-Fi technology, talk about design tips, troubleshooting, interviews, and the tools. Here are your hosts, Roel and Francois.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Clear to Send podcast. I am glad you guys are here listening. We have our co-host, Francois Burgess. How are you, Francois?
Very good. Hi, everyone. Hi, Roel.
It's been an interesting week already. So it's still early in the week, but my projects are moving along. How are your projects going, your work?
Very good, very good. I'm attending the ECSE class in Reston next to Washington, taught by
nice.
Devin Ekin, so it's very, very interesting.
Oh, that sounds like it's going to be a good class. Looking forward to what your thoughts are on Devin's classes are and what you learn out of that class, because what he knows about Wi-Fi is very valuable to the rest of the community.
Yes, and he's willing to share a lot, so we're actually, talking about a whole bunch of different subjects, and it's very, very interesting.
Well, in this episode number 78, can you believe we're almost at episode 80? And then we're closer
that's
to
crazy.
We're going to talk about Cisco Live US Class 2017, which is going to be at the Mandalay Bay, Las Vegas, from June 25th through the 29th. Have you attended Cisco Live before, Francois?
No, never. And I'm not going to be able to make this one because my brother's getting married on the 24th in France. So
he doesn't want to get married in Vegas?
I'm not too sure.
France is probably a better, area to get married in. Must be very beautiful, and it probably won't be as hot as Vegas. Because last year I attended, that was my first year at Cisco Live, so this is my second year in a row. And I believe last year it was 110 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's quite the hot weather to endure. If you're trying to walk outside, it's best to stay indoors in the cold AC environments of the Mandalay Bay.
Yeah, I don't really know Fahrenheit, but 110 Celsius is very hot.
I think that would be burning. We'd be melting at Celsius.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to talk about with you what to expect with Cisco Live if you're first time attending. We'll talk about some of the sessions, kind of the events that are going to happen during Cisco Live for that week. And the first thing I want to say is when it was my first time attending, I don't think I was even prepared for this event because I stayed at the Cosmopolitan Hotel, which if you look at the Google map, it doesn't seem that far away from the Mandalay Bay. So as a first-time attendee, you want to stay as close as possible or within the same hotel where the event's at, because walking from your hotel to the Mandalay Bay in that heat is not going to be very fun at all.
Yeah, and you arrive, you're all sweaty and stuff.
Yeah, and it's not going to be a fun conference for you to walk. But luckily, they do have shuttles at pretty much all of the hotels in Las Vegas where they'll transport you. You just got to be there on the time, so they come and pick people up. Usually it's about every 15 minutes or so. They have these shuttles, big buses that come occasionally, and they'll bring you from your hotel to the conference and throughout the whole day. So that's at least a plus there. You don't have to endure that exercise in the heat.
Do you know how many people are attending, roughly?
Oh man, it was a lot.
Sounds like it's a huge conference.
Yeah, it was in the thousands. It gets really crowded. Some of the sessions that you attend, especially the very popular speakers, the room can become standing room only if you get there too late. And some of the presentations are really good. So if you get there early, you'll get your seat, and then you'll get a good view of the presentation. Some of these rooms are huge. And when I attended, I was surprised to see how much Wi-Fi was at this conference. I would say every 20 to 30 feet there is an AP with, I think they're using the 3702s, and they were using I can't remember, but they were using semi-directional antennas that were down tilted towards the hallway. So they were big
Okay.
on the roaming. I didn't analyze the Wi-Fi when I was there because I was kind of inundated with being there in general. But the
Yeah.
the Wi-Fi was it was very prominent at Cisco Live.
Maybe you can bring your Wi-Fi Explorer and share some screenshots.
Yeah, I think this time
of it.
around I'm going to analyze the Wi-Fi and figure out how they have it set up, especially looking at the channels and the utilization. And I'm also interested in seeing if they're going to use the 3802s this time around and maybe use dual 5 gig or use the flexible radio architecture. And I think that's one of a session or a topic that you were interested in, is knowing more about flexible radio architecture using dual 5 gig on a Cisco access point. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm very interested into the dual 5 gig radios, and I see some customer that would be a good fit on my end. But we've heard about it from Cisco before with the Mobility Field Day. I think the one you attended.
Yep, yeah, I was there when they showed us the architecture and how it was configured, how it operated. But now that a year has passed, it's good to see maybe something new as far as deploying this, maybe best practices. That way, everyone's had experience.
I want to hear the feedbacks, the feedback from engineers who have deployed it, right? Because we've heard mixed feelings about it. Some people are waiting to upgrade to newer access points. So I'm waiting to see where it's going to go and if Cisco is working on it or
I think they'll come out with that information. They'll come up with something as far as flexible radio architecture goes, because that I did attend a session last year on it, and I'm hoping to see this year if there's more information that we can learn about how to install this in environments, what the best practices are, and hopefully feedback from an engineer who's done it out in the field. I want to go back and talk about, for the first time attendees, you guys want to be sure to wear comfortable shoes and clothes, because there is a lot of walking that is involved at the Mandalay Bay. I didn't realize how big that conference center is, and it's attached to the hotel. And I'm staying at the Luxor, which is going to be right next door to the Mandalay Bay. But I think even from the Luxor, if I were to walk, it's a good maybe mile or two to get to the conference center.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're going to get your 10,000 steps.
Yeah, I'm going to track my steps and document how many steps I took during Cisco Live, because I think that'd be an interesting statistic to just have around. And so I'm going to be wearing my sneakers, probably have some evening attire, because there will be some gatherings in the evening, some networking, some actual in-person networking. I actually treat Cisco Live as a networking event where I get to meet up with people who I speak to on Twitter, meet new people, meet the engineers that drive the technology at Cisco. I would say one of my favorite things from last year was the Meet the Engineer session. Have you heard of that before, Francois?
No.
The Meet the Engineer, which is it's like a session that you can pick from the session catalog, and basically you select an engineer that's from Cisco, and you want to talk about a specific topic. So last year, Robert Boardman and I decided to team up with Matt Schwartz to talk about RRM and talk about how that should be deployed in environments. Should you use that in high density? So we got to hear it straight from Matt Schwartz, who has deployed a lot of high density environments, especially stadiums, and gave us some input on RRM. And we were lucky because Jim Flork also attended that Meet the Engineer session. So we met two engineers, and so we were fortunate to do that. So I think this year again we might do the same thing, but I would highly suggest that if you're trying to learn a topic and you really want to get to know it, scheduling a meet the engineer session, you can ask them anything, and you get, I think, about 30 minutes to an hour with them. But you got to get it scheduled early, because some of those slots fill up quickly.
They have like a waiting list, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. So
everyone wants to meet Jerome Henry.
I think his got booked up pretty quickly when I looked at it. I signed up kind of late, so anyone that got in there early got ahead of me because I wasn't even able to book a hotel room at the Mandalay Bay when I signed up.
Okay. All right. That's a very interesting thing to do at a conference.
Yeah, and
Meet the engineers, the Cisco engineers.
yeah, and you can draw on a whiteboard. They got whiteboards there in a room that you can draw out a situation. Maybe there's a problem that you're having on your wireless network, and you could go ahead and map all that out for them. They'll give you their input, some feedback, and you can go and take that back to your workplace and try to, you got some
That's cool.
expertise from like a distinguished engineer, for example. So it's really good experience. I thought it was very helpful and insightful for me, and I gained a lot of knowledge just by speaking with them and being with them in that room.
All right. And you also have the exams, right? At the conference, if you want to schedule an exam,
Yeah,
a Cisco exam, you can.
Yeah, you get an exam if you get if you get the pass. And so the thing with that is once you get your pass to the Cisco Live conference, you want to go in and schedule your exam right away. And my tip for scheduling these exams is schedule it as early as possible, because once the conference gets rolling and you go through these sessions, your brain is going to just be filled with so much information that you don't want to take an exam in the middle of the conference. And you want to be fresh. And so if you get there on Saturday or Sunday, try to take it on those days.
Focus on the exam first and then focus on the conference.
Yeah, get that out of the way. And that's an exam that it just comes with the full conference pass. So go ahead and schedule that in. I think they're holding it not at the Mandalay Bay, but I think the exams this time are at the MGM Grand. I know that could have been the one that I picked. CCNA wireless. I haven't studied for it, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, well, I took it a couple of years back, so I don't have a bad memory of it. So you should be just fine especially if you're dealing with Cisco wireless, on a regular basis.
Yeah, I deal mainly with the design for wireless. I don't do too much of the Cisco wireless. We have Cisco wireless, but I'm not really configuring so much because it's already configured on our network. So it's usually configuring AP, not too much of the like from scratch. We're configuring controllers; they're already set up. But yeah, I'm looking forward to trying out this exam, and I scheduled it early. I'm doing that on a Sunday morning, I believe, because I arrive on Saturday.
All right. Have you planned to record some content for the Clear to Send podcast while you're on site?
Yeah, I'm going to bring my recording equipment. So hopefully I can, if you're listening and you're going to be there at Cisco Live and you want to be on the podcast, go ahead and shoot me a message or leave a comment or hit me up on Twitter. I will be there. I will try to schedule some time to record some episodes with people or record some bits of audio that can be put into a future episode where I do a recap of Cisco Live. And it'd be great to have people who have listened to the podcast, who are listeners, join us on the show and provide your input on what you thought about Cisco Live, what you got the most out of it. And I'll probably have it done in my room because it'll be a lot more quieter rather than doing it out on the show floor where it's pretty loud there. And that way you don't get a lot of that background noise. But yeah, I plan on trying to do even a live show. I'm trying to see how I can do that and kind of get people to show up. I'm still trying to work out the scheduling and the details of that, but once I have that information, I will let everyone know.
That's awesome. That's perfect.
And also I'll have stickers. Right. So if you guys want stickers, Clear to Send stickers, I just ordered a new batch, which I'll have on time before Cisco Live. And if you want a sticker, come find me and I will hand you one.
Perfect. So how can people find you under, if you have thousands of engineers? I wonder. I don't know, Twitter, I guess.
Yeah, you're going to have to hit me up on Twitter. I'm sure they'll have a Cisco Live app where you can maybe interact with other people. I know they had that last year. I didn't really use it, so your best bet is to hit me up on Twitter, and we'll find a place to meet.
They have, how they have meet with Cisco engineers? They should have a meet with Roel. And then you have your own booth.
Oh yeah, that would be pretty cool if I had my own booth. If Cisco would give me a booth, that would be great. But I'm not gonna hold my breath for that one. But yeah, hit me up on Twitter, and we will meet up for sure. And because I want to meet up with people, and Las Vegas has some good food, want you guys to prepare your stomachs for food. Because if you want to hang out, I want to hit up a couple of places to eat, such as Tacos El Gordo. It's actually one of my favorite taco shops. They're from San Diego. I have lived in San Diego for 10 years or a little over 10 years. So Tacos El Gordo, they have a taco shop there in Las Vegas, which would be great to hit up and have tacos. There is a secret pizza parlor in the Cosmo Hotel that we can try to get some fresh pizza. There's also a really good Thai place that I want to head out to called Lotus of Siam. It's off the strip, but it is like top notch Thai food. And of course, I'll be available for drinks. And who doesn't want to have a drink in Vegas, right?
Sounds like a good plan, Royal.
Yeah, we'll see what I can fit. I might not sleep while I'm there.
Wow. All right.
So
do you want to talk a little bit more about the sessions they're going to have around Wi-Fi? And
sure, there's a lot of interesting sessions regarding Wi-Fi. I mean, there's a lot of sessions in general at Cisco Live, not just Wi-Fi sessions. So as network engineers, if you're not just doing wireless, you also have to know the wired side. There's a whole ton of tracks on that topic, but we're going to just focus on wireless for now. One of the very good topics that they had it last year and the year before. It's the CCNA wireless course or session, which is going to be held by Jerome Henry on Tuesday, and that's going to be probably one of the first sessions of the day at 8 a.m.
Yeah, 8 a.m. They don't joke. Huh? They start right away.
They don't joke around, so get there early. Jerome's a really great presenter. He makes it fun. He's got humor involved, and he helps you learn these topics really easily. So that's going to be a great session. It's CCNA Wireless Master, the 802.11 protocols. There are other sessions like Improve Enterprise WLAN Spectrum Quality with Cisco's advanced RF capacities. That's things like RRM, clean air, and that's going to be done by Jim Florick. He's your subject matter expert when it comes to spectrum quality using RRM and clean air, and that's going to be on Wednesday. I believe I attended that one last year, and that one was pretty good. They're going to talk about Apple and Cisco, and they're going to do the fast lane topic for mobility enterprise. That's going to be on Monday. That's also really early in the morning. And then there's going to be I think I'm on the wait list for this one. This is Design and Deploy Wireless Guest Access That Works. And that's going to be an interesting conversation and a good session, because how many of us hit up guest wireless networks and your experience is just, through the toilet? It's not great. Yeah, so this is going to be an interesting session, because I want to know how does Cisco deploy a guest wireless access and still make it a great experience for that guest. On Wednesday at 8 a.m., there's going to be a high-density Wi-Fi design, deployment, and optimization by Josh Sir and Matt Swartz. I haven't heard Josh Sir talk or present, but I know Matt Swartz is a very smart individual when it comes to Wi-Fi. He deploys a lot of high-density, especially stadium deployments. Then we've got Advanced Enterprise WLAN Deployments. That's actually a full day seminar, which I haven't seen before. And I don't know, some of these sessions you actually have to pay for. So I don't know if this is one of those. And then there's Deploying Outdoor Wireless Networks, which I would be interested in, because that's what I'm doing currently. That's one of my projects. And I'm playing with a couple of outdoor wireless access points. Last year, I attended this specific session, which was 7 Ways to Fail as a Wireless Expert. That one is actually quite humorous as well, and it goes through some of the Wi-Fi fundamentals. So what does bad Fi look like? What do you need to avoid so you're not a Wi-Fi failure, basically? Some other topics with Cisco certifications, you've got CCIE wireless tutorials and also CCNP wireless sessions. And I don't think there's even a lot of content on those certifications as far as your CCNP and CCIE wireless goes. So those would be good sessions to go into if you already have your CCNA wireless and you're going into CCNP, or maybe you just want to jump straight for CCIE wireless. And there's not even that many CCIE wireless engineers out there.
And if you look at the CCIE wireless session, it goes from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. So it's 4 hours, right? So you're going to get some content out of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably leave that as your only session for that day.
Yeah. So that's interesting to know.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll jump into that one. I might stop by and see what it's like. I don't think I'll sit through the whole 4 hours because I don't plan on doing CCIE wireless anytime soon. But it'd be interesting to see what they talk about, what's on the exam. Where's the CCIE wireless exam headed towards? Because there's not much content or training material out there. So how do you get trained for this certification? Other than having just the full-on experience, which is what I think how some of these guys get your CCIE wireless. They just have done it for so long that they can pass this exam. And then we have the connected mobile experience. That should be an interesting session. That's the CMX. And I think that has to do with like analytics, a whole slew of information that's useful to the company to help them drive more profits and
location analysis and stuff like this.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see how Cisco does it. I have seen some antennas like they have that Halo that Halo antenna. They had that one in one of the large rooms, and I don't know how they were using it. I didn't attend a session that talked about it, but it'd be interesting to see how Cisco's using it and how they use it for Cisco Live in general. That would be interesting.
I've seen it in a couple of airports, and I've talked to a customer, which is like a transit company, right? And they were interested in knowing the flow of passengers going through their stations.
So, and that would be useful information to help improve like operations and improve traffic flow. Maybe there's a bottleneck somewhere that they need to resolve. Things like that. I don't know. It's not my area of expertise, but those are some of the topics that come to my mind when you use analytics. Because I know as technical people, we don't really use analytics that much, but I think we're going to have to start getting involved because this is now tying into the wireless network, right? So someone needs to help design it, deploy it, and then make use of that data. How do people tie back into that analytical data and use that for the business? There's some non-Wi-Fi related topics that you found interesting, Francois. Do you want to list those out?
Yeah. I've
found those interesting?
I've picked up some cellular network topics because I don't know, I've always liked it since I did my master at the university. We studied some cellular technologies, and I don't know, everyone was super crazy interested about them. So they have some session around 5G, one called 5G radio access network transformation, another one called 5G technology updates. So 5G is basically going to be the new wireless, the new cellular wireless technology after LTE. So that would be interesting to know, what's coming up in the future, and how is Cisco, do they have any product, or, how are they going to play a role in the cellular world? And then they have another session called it's still around cellular and mixing cellular and IoT. So they have one called Cisco IoT in a 5G world, and then another one called deploying 4G LTE for enterprise and IoT solutions.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see if that ties into the existing wireless equipment that we deploy, or is there other equipment that you need to deploy as far, because I know there's areas or buildings where people don't have cell signal. So are we going to leverage the Wi-Fi equipment that we have? Maybe it's a module, because there is on the like 3800, 2800, there's that module on the side that we could utilize. Maybe that's going to be involved. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what's going on in the cellular world and how that relates to us.
Yeah, I have always seen the cellular the cellular technology being complementary to Wi-Fi, and I don't think one is gonna take over the other. So it's it's interesting for us to know how it works and how it can play along with Wi-Fi, and maybe converge, or I don't know, work together.
Yeah, I think they'll complement each other, and hopefully we'll see these smart handoffs where you don't have this interruption of data as you're with your call.
You're talking about Wi-Fi calling, or you're talking about hotspot 2.0?
Yeah, hotspot or Wi-Fi calling. Maybe we'll see how. I don't know. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Maybe I might sign up for one of those sessions just to get a feel for where technology is going other than Wi-Fi. I'll follow up with cellular networks.
Yeah, they have so many stations. It's hard to pick the one you want.
Yeah,
and it's hard to yeah. It's kind of like going to a very good bakery and you have to choose which treat you want to buy, and you want to buy everything, but
right?
You can't.
Yeah, so and you don't want to take too many sessions either, because you're just going to be mentally exhausted from going to these sessions and getting fed a lot of information. So it's good to try to figure out where your weak spots are and pick topics that you haven't attended in previous Cisco lives, or if you're new, try to pick ones that are most interesting to you and just start from there. And then try to listen to see what other people are saying about different sessions and how that would help you and your organization. I think that's the best way to put it. And then to end this whole conference, there is the customer appreciation event, and Bruno Mars is actually headlining that event. My wife is actually very jealous that I'm going to be seeing Bruno Mars at the T-Mobile Arena. I'll probably FaceTime her in so she can watch. But yeah, I'm a fan of Bruno Mars. He's very entertaining, a lot of upbeat music. So I think that'll be a fresh, musical performer for Cisco Live.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool.
Yep. So that's all I have to talk about Cisco Live. We'll put up some links on the show notes where you can get more details on sessions if you haven't already decided what sessions you're going to attend, because I highly recommend you go ahead and fill out your calendar on Cisco Live's website, because I'm already on some waiting lists for some of these topics, but we'll see how it goes. I don't think they'll turn anyone away if they want to see a presentation, but the rooms do get filled up. And then hopefully we'll get a lot of people to meet up for the podcast, and maybe Francois, next year, you and I will both be at Cisco Live or even another conference.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope that I can make it next year. And also, I wanted to say, when you go to conferences, it's also good to try to network with people and meet other, engineers or potential customers. I don't know, but just network with people and take the time to talk, exchange experiences. I think it's a very important part of a conference.
Yeah, for sure. So where can people find you, Francois, on the internet?
So on Twitter at Vergis Francois or at Clear2Send, and on my blog, semfionetworks.com/blog.
Awesome. And you guys can find me at RowellDionicio on Twitter. Head over to the show notes, clear2send.net/78, where we will list out some of the sessions that we found interesting, and also any relatable links to this session. And as always, if you guys found this episode useful, or you find that the podcast is very useful for you, head over to iTunes and leave us a rating, a review. Let us know how we're doing. We would be very happy to see any kind of feedback on our episodes. Maybe there's a topic you guys want to hear about. But anyhow, head over to clear2send.net, I think /iTunes, and that'll lead you there to iTunes. From me and Francois, we like to say you guys have a great day, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.
See you guys.